Alright guys, we actually got some news regarding Danganronpa V3 Killing Harmony. So a couple of days ago, NIS America, who is the publisher of Danganronpa V3 in the West, has recently tweeted out, it was a couple of days ago, but the tweet reads out, PSA, we are requesting all streamers, influencers, and media to respect guidelines placed by Spike Chunsoft, which are the developers, the Japanese developers of Danganronpa, for Danganronpa V3. Tweet 1 out of 2. Those who decide on breaking the guidelines will risk being contacted by Spike Chunsoft to remove any video content past Chapter 1. Tweet 2 out of 2. So that basically seems to hint at some sort of embargo regarding not being allowed to stream, and I'm assuming Let's Plays is going to be part of that as well. They say all streamers, influencers, and media. It doesn't explicitly outright say Let's Players anywhere, but I'm assuming that is kind of part of it, and obviously that means bad news for people, channels similarly like me that have done either 2 Danganronpa Let's Plays on their channel, and we're really looking forward to doing similarly so with Danganronpa V3, because it's one of the most highly anticipated, at least visual novels, not just sort of games of the entire year for me personally, and it's a little bit sad that an embargo like this is placed on it. Apparently we're not allowed to stream or, I guess, upload past Chapter 1. So yeah, I guess that's just sort of a quick heads up regarding that. Now, knowing me, of course, I do have my opinion and I'm going to be sharing it with you guys, but before I do so, I just want to explicitly say that my opinion will not be attacking the rights of NIS America or Spike Chunsoft to do this whatsoever. They are 100% within their right to do so. That is not something I'm ever going to argue against. Any of my points or arguments against this will solely be based on whether they actually should be doing this, because the reaction from people has sort of been split. Some people have been supporting this move because it's mainly to counteract spoilers, and other people have voiced their displeasure with this decision to the point where some people have even cancelled their pre-order or decide not to play this. So the legal matter of this is just 100% foolproof. It's their game. We as streamers / Let's Players are entirely dependent on creators of developers of games, you know, creating the product that they do, and we do sort of benefit off of them by doing Let's Plays and whatnot, but I think it's really hard to deny for anyone that it's sort of a mutual beneficial thing when people do Let's Play of video games or stream said video games to their audiences. At least that's how I look at it, and I'm fairly certain a lot of people have a similar opinion on that matter. Alright, so seemingly the embargo, I'm just gonna call it an embargo because that's sort of what it is. It's not very specific in a sense that how long it lasts, if it's a temporary thing, if it's a permanent thing. It doesn't really say that, so I'm just going to, I guess with my opinion, I'll just assume either one of the two or just argue both sides. But yeah, currently it says you can only record past Chapter 1, and from what I've read, I've sort of read 2 articles about it, and the primary reason for it is just to avoid spoilers. Now, that's all well and fine, but I find it kind of a weak reason. Like, once again, right, they're fully within their right to do so, but if their reason is solely to avoid spoilers being out there, like, I understand, right, it's a visual novel, I mean, there are a lot of choices, but the ending doesn't really change depending on the choices that you make. You either just make the correct choices, which makes you progress in the game, or you make the bad choices, which make you fail in the game. Now, this is an argument that's been used by a couple of other visual novel I guess developers, companies, whatever, to prevent videos or Let's Plays, whatever, of their game to be out on YouTube or any other video platform. And I've spoken out against it multiple times. I mean, I've pretty much beaten this topic to death at this point. I've made like 2 or 3 videos about this in the past, weighing all the pros and cons from both my / Let's Players perspective as well as from the company itself, and I personally ultimately came to the conclusion that yes, some of the things that the companies are worried about, let's say people watching the game for free, blah blah blah, experiencing it for free, not paying for it. Ultimately, the pros outweigh the cons. Now, a game such as Danganronpa, which heavily relies on its mysteriousness and just the plot twist that develop throughout the story, obviously spoilers are kind of a thing that could ruin the game for people. I can definitely agree with that. I'm a person that doesn't like spoilers whatsoever, regardless whether it's a movie, TV series, anime, games, whatsoever, right? Spoilers are never really fun. So I can kind of understand that part, that you want to prevent spoilers as a game developer, especially because your game depends on its plot twist so much. But if a popular streamer or YouTuber, let's say, you know, does a let's play or streams your game, people that are going to be watching those streams or let's play videos, more likely than not, don't really care about being spoiled, right? Like, imagine this. Let's say that I did a V3 let's play and 30 videos in. Let's say like we're at chapter 3, for example. Major plot twist happens in chapter 2. If you're a person that was interested in Danganronpa V3, wasn't sure whether you were gonna buy it, it's not like you're gonna click on the 17th video, watch it for like 30 minutes, and at the exact moment where the plot twist happens, you're like, oh shit, I didn't mean to watch this, you know? You're not going to accidentally spoil yourself in that sense. People that are interested in the series are most likely either going to try to avoid spoilers as much as possible on their own accord, or just buy and play the game themselves the moment it gets released, right? Like, even on streams, people that will probably watch streamers play the game either have no interest in playing the game themselves at first. Their minds could be changed, however, over the course of watching said streamer play the game, and like, hey, I really enjoyed that. Sure, there may have been spoiled to a certain degree, but some people need more time, need to see more footage, need to see what the game really is all about in order to fully make up their mind whether they want to buy the game or not and play it themselves. So it's entirely possible. Yes, let's say I watch a stream, the streamer plays until like, or he's in the thick of chapter 3, and I say like, oh damn, this is pretty cool. Yes, part of the game, and I want to buy and play it myself. Yes, part of it was spoiled for me, but it's not like there's only one plot twist in Danganronpa, right? That's really important. It's like, holy shit, that changes everything. And then the rest isn't really that plot twisty or important anymore. Usually Danganronpa has a bunch of those moments. So in that case, if one spoiler was able to convince a person to then buy and play your game, wouldn't you kinda say it was worth it? And those are just a couple of reasons why I think spoilers as a reason to put an embargo on this after the game has been released is kind of just pointless in my opinion. Now, my biggest issue with this embargo is that it doesn't specify how long it lasts. It doesn't say whether it's temporary or permanent. I can kind of understand, and it would be a bit more reasonable in my opinion if it were only a temporary thing for, let's say, maybe a month, 3 months, 6 months, hell, even a year from now. At least it'll give people similarly in my position who want to play the game, and I'm definitely gonna buy the game, I'm definitely gonna play the game, and I will upload and play until chapter 1, but it gives us at least an opportunity in the future to share your game, our enthusiasm for the game, how we experience the game from our perspective, and put our own spin / take and add our own transformative content to it to share with our audience. Now that's something that I hope will happen in the future, because a permanent embargo like this, I feel like it doesn't do anybody any good. Like, I'm fairly certain that the game is still gonna be a success regardless of this embargo, right? With this embargo in place, the game is still gonna be a success. A large amount of people will still buy it, a large amount of people will still play it and enjoy it and love the hell out of it, but I feel like they're, with this embargo, just restricting themselves a bit, right? Like, you're dependent on people that have played and loved the previous Danganronpa games to buy and play V3 and enjoy it. And I'm sure that still a huge amount of their play base will still continue to play this and love it. But with embargoes like this, they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot a little bit with exposing their game to a new audience, for example, because after, let's take for example Danganronpa 1 and 2, right? It was originally released on the PS Vita, I believe, and I think maybe it was like a year or a year and a half ago they got released to Steam, and it opened the game up to a brand new audience, right? Obviously the player base on Steam or just PC in general is much bigger than the PS Vita, so that made a lot more people be introduced to Danganronpa, play the game, and a sizable portion of the amount of people that got into contact or, you know, got introduced to Danganronpa was also through people streaming the game, playing the game. And back then they didn't really have an issue with spoilers, considering the game at that point was already a number of years old, which makes me then also more hopeful that at some point in the future this embargo will be lifted and we'll be able to just play Danganronpa V3, stream it or let's play it just 100% to the fullest to the end of the game. But for now it just really looks to me like they solely want to depend on its current player base or the people that are already interested in Danganronpa and have played the first two games to just, you know, play the first three without any chance of spoilers whatsoever, even though it's very unlikely that those people would try and look up for spoilers or be accidentally spoiled by clicking on a YouTube video or a stream or whatsoever. But I can kind of understand it from that perspective then, right? If they just want those people that will guaranteed buy the game anyway to just not be spoiled, and then later down the line try and have streamers slash let's players bring in new audiences to be introduced to the Danganronpa universe, the amazing game world, and still be able to sell their games or this copy of the game V3 months down the line, let's say after the embargo is lifted, you know, because a lot of games get most of their sales obviously right after launch or the first month after launch, for example, and then it usually slowly starts to decline. Now, if this is just a huge business plan of like, alright, we're just gonna, at a certain point when the sales aren't going that well anymore, they'll lift the embargo and hopefully they're expecting to see a spike or something like that. Like, once again, I can totally understand that. It's a smart business decision, certainly, and we as, you know, streamers, let's players are just completely at the mercy of the developers' approach and how they want to handle things regarding people sharing and playing their game and uploading it on the internet. So once again, I guess I just sort of shared my opinion that I do find spoilers to be a weak reasoning for it, but whatever reasoning they actually have for it, whether it's actually spoilers or just something they don't want to say, or it's just what I mentioned, more the business side of it, they're fully within their right to do so. So I just wanted to say that my plan for the Let's Play of Danganronpa V3 is most likely just going to be that I will be playing it the moment it gets released. I'll be playing up until Chapter 1, and I'll probably play, I'll play the entire game, but only upload until Chapter 1, and then once the embargo gets lifted, I'll just upload the rest whenever possible. It's a bit of a sad situation for, I guess, Let's Players, streamers like myself, but nothing we can do about it. All we can do is sort of hope for the best and pray that in the future this embargo gets lifted. And I do think that that would be the smartest decision for Spike Chunsoft or NIS America, whoever is really in charge of... It's most likely Spike Chunsoft, right? Yeah, it said so in the tweet. Now, I am a bit saddened that this embargo exists in the first place, because it kind of feels like they're policing you in a sense, right? That they're like, no, you're not allowed to do this until after that, blah blah blah. And I feel like a part of that should just lay the responsibility of being spoiled or spoilers or whatever, right, should sort of lie in the person's hands themselves, and it kind of makes you feel like they are saying that you can't. But whatever, I've said my piece about this, and I've laid out my plan for what I'm gonna do with my Let's Play for Danganronpa V3, and I guess I'll just end the video here. So yeah, feel free to share your opinion about this matter in the comments down below. This is the end of the video. Thank you guys so very much for watching. I'll just see you guys around in the next videos and stuff. Peace.